What's the context behind this photo? And why do you look like you have so much reluctance and trepidation behind those eyes?
Reluctance? Trepidation? What, me worry? Never! Besides, why would anyone feel reluctance or trepidation upon moving back to their hometown to start their first year of high school, only to find out they wouldn't be going to the school they thought they'd be going to, the school that would certainly feature most of the friends they'd grown up with and hadn't seen since they moved away, but instead be going to a Catholic school that they didn't even know existed until they learned they were going there? I mean, seriously. Who would be reluctant or experience trepidation just because they walked through the door of the high school for orientation and a loud, "Don't nobody here look like me" alarm immediately goes off in their head?
So like the ratio was like 13,000 kicks to one Cocoa Puff. Like it was like one spot of brown. It looked like a Kanye concert. That's what it was.
Reluctance? Trepidation? About going to school every day dressed like 2006 Carlton Banks, navigating tone-deaf questions of, "Can I touch your hair?" and "Why don't you talk black?" and mockery-slathered greetings like, "Yo, yo, what's up, my dog?" highlighting both insensitivity by way of ignorance and insensitivity by way of "let me torture the black kid," which, truthfully, were hard to tell apart some days? Nope, I was just fine. It's not like my legacy was that of a 4-foot 10-inch curiosity, a 9th grader who was supposed to be an 8th grader taking classes for 10th graders, or someone who was found to be docile, awkward, and relatively uninteresting after prodding from their peers, characteristics that defied their expectations of a young black male, which unfortunately made him feel a sort of guilt for not living up to their constructed stereotype, which led to a period of trying to make them like him, only for him to realize they weren't interested in liking him, opting to continue conducting their twisted social experiments until he turned into the black male they expected him to be by the middle of 10th grade. That is, angry, snide, sarcastic, and rappery. More on that later. Which, ironically, they would like a lot less than his authentic form. No, I never had to put Sean in a headlock in the back hallway for trying me one too many times. I never had to defend my Timberland boots that they would one day appropriate. I never let all of this drive me to become a student that had too much internal turmoil to be bothered with his academic standing anymore, going on to be trash and everything but PE. Although I could see myself stupidly breaking my shoulder in a freak accident or something brought about by a surge of energy gained from just making eye contact with a girl I had a crush on, because things like that kind of light up my entire day. I never had to sit in class and worry about figuring out where to sit at lunch later because my only friend was out sick. I never cried after getting my love note kindly rejected, left to forever ponder if the truth behind the rejection was my being short, ugly, unpopular, black, or some mixture of the four. I never had to hide in the bathroom and skip class for the first time ever because I'm generally always anxious. I was anxious and afraid of embarrassing myself further in front of the white people, since during my last speech in that class, I pronounced Arab as Arab, which is probably pretty offensive sounding, but I didn't know any better because, hey, I grew up around black folks and that's just how we pronounced it. And I mean, come on, at least I was ashamed of being unintentionally offensive. When I pointed out how idiotic they were being on purpose, they just laughed and kept making chicken jokes. Speaking of chicken, KFC is trash, so you might as well just retire that. And you could have at least used Popeyes or Churches or something. Get rid of the Planet of the Apes jokes. It's not even that fire. It's not even that fire. At least let your racism be fire. Come on, man. This is tired. This is